Today is Lamed Vav, right? So we're going to start Lamed Hey, Lamed Bais. Start Lamed Hey, Bais. We explained a machlekes between Rabbi Yochanan and Rabbi Lazar. What's the pshat in the Mishnah? Rabbi Yochanan and Rabbi Lazar are two early Eretz Yisrael Amirim. Rabbi Yochanan, Rabbi Lazar is right there. Rabbi Lazar ben Pedas. Very early Amirim. And what happened was the Mishnah is talking about shepherds of Kayanim, or Kayanim shepherds are not believed, but Jewish shepherds are believed. You have machlekes what that means. Does that mean shepherds of Kayanim, but they're just Yisraelim, and those are not believed? Why are they not believed? We're talking about the mum and the bechor. They're not believed that the mum happened naturally, because maybe they put it there in order to be able to get the meal. Or do we say it the other way? That, no, they really are believed. What we're concerned about is Kayanim that are shepherds for Yisrael. Because why would they not be believed? They're not believed because maybe they're hoping that they're going to get the Bechar once the owner sees that there's a mum in it, which they possibly put there. So they're suspected that they want it for themselves. No, they want it for themselves. Now, if we say that Kayanim that are shepherds for a Yisrael are not believed, so the Mishnah has another opinion here. It says, Reb Meir says, that means that Reb Meir holds that a Kayan isn't believed. The Tanna Kama holds that a Kayan that's a shepherd isn't believed. So what's the difference between the Tanna Kama and Reb Meir? Both of them say exactly the same thing. So usually when you have a machlekes, you're expecting that there's going to be an argument. But if they're agreeing, then why are they listed as two opinions? So the Gemara that we learned yesterday, where we just stopped, it says, Ikke b'nai Rabbi Shua ben Kapusai. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 12 lines down. The Tanya. The difference between the Tanna Kama and Rabbi Meir has to do with Rabbi Shua ben Kapusai. Again, the Tanna Kama mentioned that the Kayan that's a shepherd of a Yisrael, he's the worker for the Yisrael, is not believed. Rabbi Meir holds that a Kayan is not believed. So the difference is they're arguing over this ruling of Rabbi Shua ben Kapusai. The Tanya is taught in a Bais, Rabbi Shua ben Kapusai Yomer. Yesterday, Rabbi told us that this is the son-in-law of Rabbi Akiva. See, everything is Lag Baimer. Bechar bei Kayan tzarich shnayim min hashuk l'hayed alav. If there's a Bechar in the house of a Kayan, we need two members, two witnesses to testify that aren't part of this family. So what's going to happen is that the Tanna Kama holds that you can trust. When it says Shnayim and Ashuk, it means even if they're Kayanim. Tanna Kama holds that you can trust Kayanim, but as long as they're not involved there. And Rabbi Meir would hold, no, Kayan you can never trust for a Bechar. Rabbi Shimon ben Gamliel holds that you can trust family members. That the Bechar, that the mum happened on its own, naturally. Got a mum, that it wasn't put in there by the Kayanim. Rabbi Yisrael Rafilu Asar v'him b'nei Bais and Eden Love. Rabbi Yisrael, it's supposed to be Rabbi. The Shittim Kvetz fixes it. It's not Rabbi Yisrael. Why is it not Rabbi Yisrael? Why does it have to be like that? I'm not sure. Maybe he knows. The Rebbe says that even if there's 10 witnesses, but if they're part of the family, they can't testify. Okay, we have our answer. What does the Tanna Kama hold? That Kayanim are believed, just not this Kayan. And Reb Meir holds Kayanim are never believed. Now it says, Amar Rav Katina, Safik Bechar Shnel Be'Yisrael Tzarech Shnayim and Ashuk L'Hayed Alav. Come on. Let's say there's a Safik Bechar. what's a suffix bechar? You walk into the pen and you see that the animal gave birth to two animals. One of them is a bechar, one isn't. So, in that case, you give it to the kohen, because one is definitely. Let's say it is a male and a female. So then it could be that there really is no bechar here. So you don't give anything to the kohen, you keep it. What do you do? The kohen has to prove. So what do? You wait till it gets a mum. You wait till it gets a mum, and you eat it. Even if you're Yisrael, you could eat it because it's not a bechar. Once it has a mum, then it's not. It's no doubt if it's a sacrifice. So very interesting. Are you allowed to put a mum in it? No. It has to get a mum naturally. So if I have a suffix bechar in the house of a Yisrael, I can't trust the Yisrael how the mum came, and I need someone from the outside to testify. Who holds that I can trust someone from the outside to testify? Because who's going to eat this? The Yisrael. When it's going to a kohen, then we had the opinion of Rabbi Meir that you can't trust any kohenim. Here, it's who's going to eat it? Yisrael. Maybe I can't trust any Yisraelim. But Rabbi Yeshua ben Kapusai holds that you can trust a kohen who's not related to this story, so therefore I should be able to trust the Yisrael that's not related to the story. Okay. Come on, who does this go? Like Rabbi Yeshua ben Kapusai. This is what we have in the name of Rav Chizda. Rav Nachman Amar Bailamidam Alav. No. You're mixing up kohenim and Yisraelim. Kohenim we don't trust. But the owners you can't. But the Yisrael you could trust, because Dilei Mahachi. If you're not going to trust the Yisrael that he didn't put the mum in on his own, then you're not going to trust him for anything. So Meiser l'Rabeir Mimeyed Alav. Meiser, an animal that's the 10th animal. If it has a mum, so you don't have to bring it as a carbon. You keep it. It's not a carbon anymore. So can the Yisrael testify about this? The Gemara says, no, that's not a question, because Meiser V'adai Meheman. But Meiser, he's definitely believed for. Why? Because he has a. It's not a migu, but it's a way out. If he really wanted to do this, he had another way out. What is his way out? He could have made little cuts in the eyelid of his whole flock, and then none of them would have had a moment. That he was allowed to do. None of them would have been a carbon, and he was allowed to do that because it wasn't a carbon yet. It was. The question is, if, according to Reb Meir, if a suffix bechar that doesn't go to the kohen, is a Yisrael allowed to testify about that? Because it's going to a Yisrael. Maybe he's Negea B'davar now, and Reb Meir holds that anyone that's Negea, anyone that's going to be biased, is not believed. So what about a suffix bechar? Would a Yisrael be believed to say that the mum came naturally? The less like the kanta. Maybe, according to Reb Meir, you can never eat this bechar. Because who's going to say how the mum came? No one can. You can't trust anyone. Kohenim you can't trust anyway. And Yisraelim you can't trust. Because this belongs to Yisrael. The problem is, V'atanan, it was taught in a Mishnah, Shahayir Rabbi Yosi Eimer Kol Shechalifa B'yad Kain Pater Mena Matanis. We're talking about giving the gifts to the Kain. Rabbi Yosi holds that if you have two male animals that were born, so you eat, one goes to the Kain and the other one you eat, even though you don't know which one was the Bechar. So, but it's considered like it's exchange, that you gave them both to the Kain gives you back one. Now, if that's the case, that you got one from the Kain, then you don't have to give the gifts of the Zreya L'Chayim and the Keva, those special gifts that you have to give to the Kain every time you sacrifice an animal. So Rabbi Yosi holds that you're allowed to eat those matanas alone, you don't have to give them to the Kain, because this was possibly given to the Kain in return. Rabbi Meir Mechayv, Rabbi Meir says, no, you have to give it to the Kain. 1 second. How are you giving it to the Kain? You can't shech this. What are you going to say? It has a mum? But who believes that the mum wasn't put in there on purpose? The Yisrael? Kain you can't believe. The Yisrael? we just said that maybe you can't believe the Yisrael either because this is eaten by Yisrael. So Shmamina Bailam Yidim Alav. What we just did is we went through this suspicion that we have that Kayanim would lie about how the mum originated, where it came from. Did they do it on purpose or did it happen naturally? Because once there's a mum in there, the Kayanim can eat it. So Reb Meir's opinion is that you can't trust any Kayan. Not only a Kayan that's the owner of this, or the Kayan that's the worker for the owner of this, but any Kayan you can't trust. So you can never trust a Kayan over a mum on a Bechar. So we extended this suspicion. We questioned if we should extend this suspicion to the type of a Bechar that's not going to the Kayan, but it's going to a Yisrael. Should we say now this Bechar that's going to Yisrael, I know I can't trust Kayanim about a mum, that maybe they do it on purpose. But now this is going to Yisrael, maybe I should say that I can't trust the Yisrael that this had a mum. So if that's the case, then this Safek Bechar goes to Yisrael, I would say I can't trust anyone, so I can't eat it. So we proved that that's not the case because we said that Reb Meir says the gifts of a Safek Bechar have to go to the Kain. How do you get gifts out of this? No one is trusted. The answer is that only Kayanim are not trusted, Yisraelim are trusted, even though it's going to them. This was something that was common for Kayanim to possibly put the mum in originally to do it on purpose, and Yisraelim weren't suspected for that.
On a tangential note, I once heard a lecture by Rabbi Friedman. I don't remember if he was in town or was on the tape, but he was talking about trust, and he said, look at the dollar bill and it says, "In God we trust," and his comment was, "If you can't trust God, who can you trust?" That's what this whole Gemara sounds like. If you can't trust us, you can't trust who can you trust?
Yep. Yeah, it's interesting. And they say the only way to know if a man is honest is to ask him. If he says yes, he's a liar. Okay, we're up to Itmar. Itmar means it was stated by Amiram. Usually it's a machlekes. It's a compound word. Is Amar. It's been stated. Reb Nachman Amar halacha Reb Shimon ben Gamliel. Reb Nachman says halacha is like Reb Shimon ben Gamliel. Reb Shimon ben Gamliel said that you're allowed to trust the family members. No. That your Kayan is trusted to testify about his friend. Kayan is trusted. Reb Shimon ben Gamliel also said family members. But as long as it's not his, you can trust him that the mum originated, it was a natural cause that this mum came there. And Reb Nachman's passing like Reb Shimon ben Gamliel.
The commentary here says, say what he holds. But the second thing he said, that the testimony of the son or daughter of a Kohen is accepted.
Right.
That's what they're saying. This commentary.
Right. So it's not going on that a Kohen can testify for his friend.
Well, now the
What
they're writing here.
Yeah, that's based on Rashi. Yeah, Ben Gerson says the same. It's not going back to the Mishnah. It's going to the Bais that we quoted. Rava Amar Halacha Rabbi Yosi. It's probably Rabbi. Rava says halacha is like Rabbi. Now Rabbi over here said that 10 people that are from the family cannot testify. So it's a machlekes if you can trust the family of this Bechar, of the family, Kayan family that owns this Bechar. You can trust them. The Gemara now asks, so Miyam Rava Hachi? Does Rava say that you can't trust the family members? V'amar Rava, Bailim, what's the hay? Oimdim, no, you take out Oimdim. Bailim Achutz, you keep Imanu Bachutz. You keep the owners outside. In Nichnas Shalem, you let the animal walk into the house. v'yatzachabel, and it comes out bruised, me'idim alav, you can testify about this. The question is, what's the question here?
If members of the Cohen's household, which were inside, this I can testify. Like, did the animal trip, or did someone
Right.
actually do
So
it?
these
are family members.
who's inside the house?
Only
Family
the
members.
Cohen's family.
Kain's family. So only the owner himself has to wait outside because we don't trust the owner himself.
Mm-hmm.
But the family members, we would trust that they would testify we would trust them if they would tell us that the mum happened on its own. It ran into a corner, to something sharp or something. We didn't do it. We could trust them. So why does Rabbi say you can't trust family members if Rabbi has this other statement that as long as the owner is outside, you can trust the family members? The Gemara says, Eimakol balav imanu kol balav imanu v'lei chashinan. He says, he says, what does it mean, Bailam, the owners? It doesn't just mean the owner, the master of the house. It means every person from the family was outside. Then, so who's testifying?
Neighbors.
I guess there's no one there.
Neighbors.
Or maybe we just, if there's no one there, then that's fine, maybe. Or maybe it just runs
No,
in.
the Cohen's outside too.
The Kain's outside.
So he's technically, at the moment, the owner of the Bechor.
Right.
All right, only his family's inside.
No, but now we're
Now we're
switching.
changing.
Now we're
Even the
switching.
family's
Now we're
not
saying that it means that, because we don't want to say that the family is believed, because we just said Rabbi says the family isn't believed. So now what we're doing is we're taking the family out as well. We said owner, we said owners, and that includes the family.
Household.
The whole household is outside.
So who's inside? He said
So,
nobody?
so if there's no one inside,
Then
so obviously the mum happened on
who's
its own.
gonna testify?
So, well, I guess when it walks out, we see that it happened on its own, whoever's there.
Somebody has to testify.
Right. The Gemara says, Yachim ala memra.
Nobody's in the house. But somebody has to testify. Nobody was in the house. So somebody has to testify. No? Nothing?
The shepherd
How do
is
you know what happened
Maybe the
inside?
shepherd. The shepherd is inside.
Yeah.
The shepherd is inside.
Yeah.
The shepherd.
Somebody has to. But it happened outside. I mean, who says it happened inside? Somebody has to be there.
So the Gemara says like this. It says Yachim ala memra. If there's no one there, so what's the chiddush? Of course, it happened naturally. It says Ma'odetei menechash l'chshada kamash malan. Maybe we should suspect that for chshad. Maybe there's something to suspect here. Maybe there's two opinions and two interpretations in Rashi. Maybe the shepherd did it, which that was something we discussed before. The other option is that maybe the owners did a trick over here, and they put like a trap, but here we would say they put a something sweet, some honey or some tvela on the ear, and then they send it in, and then inside the dog over there bites it. So maybe they set it up. They set it up so that this should happen, and this is called grama, which we said was a problem for. How did we learn that grama was a problem? We had Menayin Shleyavi Devela, Tamlem Kol Mum, Echad Mum.
Not out of close.
Yeah. Amar Mum v'Amar Kol Mum. You can't cause it either. Okay. Amalei Rav Papa. Oh no, I skipped something. The Hilchasa, Kamash Malan. The Gemara says that we don't suspect to that. The Hilchasa Reb Shimon ben Gamliel. The Allah is like Reb Shimon ben Gamliel. B'dafke b'nayu bitay avlishtei lai maitam yishtei kigufi dami. Rabbi Shimon ben Gamliel said that you can trust the family, and that was what Reb Nachman said. You can trust the family, not the owner. You can trust the family, but the Gemara concludes that you can trust the family, but not the wife. the wife is considered like the owner as well, because they have a joint tax return.
The children are also in there.
But the children you can trust. Oh, but the
Yeah,
dependents. They're just
Yeah,
dependents.
dependents. They're also negated.
Rav Papa la Abaya, Rav Papa says to Abaya, here, Rav Papa is a student of Abaya and Rava. La Rabbi Meir, according to Rabbi Meir, says that someone that's suspected for something cannot testify and cannot judge on that matter because we suspect, have a suspicion. He's biased. The problem is when you match this up with another statement of Reb Meir, we're in trouble. Because Reb Meir holds that if someone is suspected for one halacha, we had this before, we're talking about a convert or something, or someone that's trying to be a chover, said if he's suspected for one thing, he's suspected for the whole Torah. You can't trust him on anything, because the Torah is one package. What do you mean? If you don't keep this, how can we trust anything? So, problem is, Kayanim hachinami d'lei daini dina. Kayanim can't judge. I can't trust Kayanim because I can't trust Kayanim that they didn't put a mum in a bechar because they're biased. They're going to get the money out of that. I can't trust them. So therefore, you can never trust a Kayan to be a judge or to be a witness, because Rameir holds chashad l'davar echad is chashad l'chala Torah kula. If you can't trust him in one area, you can't trust him in any area. So vaksiv al piyam yekal riv chal nega. From the biblical sources, the Kayanim were the teachers. They were the judges. Here we say you can't trust them on a mum. According to Rabbi, that means you can't trust them on anything. The Gemara explains, this, you see, it's the same word is used. Chashash means to suspect. Chashad means suspected on. But it's a different word. But we use the same word, that they're chashad. But what we meant was that there's a chashash. So chashad means that it's more than just we suspect. Chashad means that he's committed this crime. And we can't trust him in this area. But chashash means that we can't trust him not because he's committed the crime, it's just you don't trust him because he's biased. You don't go ask him. It's not because we know that he lied already. So Reb Meir says that a Kayan, there's a chashash that he would lie. Doesn't mean that he lied, or it doesn't mean that he actually goes and commits the crime. It's just we don't trust him in this. So lachzukinu miyamar. Did Reb Meir say that Kayanim actually do this? He said we don't trust them. Doesn't mean that they actually did it. If they actually did it, then they'll be puzzled. I heard a tape of a Tanaim, I think it was a Tanaim. Shlomo Kalbach was doing a Tanaim on the Moshav, I think. And there were Yeshiva Bachrim there. Yeshiva Bachrim were talking in the middle while they were reading the Tanaim. I hear him say, he was frustrated with the frum but not spiritual. So he said, Bachrim, if you talk in the middle of the Tanaim, then what's your Yiddishkeit? What's your there was one. It's like, you can't pick and choose. This is important. This isn't important. The whole thing is okay. Yibailahu. We have that we're talking in Shul. It's like, it's like, if you talk in Shul, can I eat in your house? According to Reb Meir, probably not. Yibailahu. There's a question.
You're not supposed to talk while you're eating it.
Aid me pied. There's a problem when it comes to testimony. It has to be firsthand. What about by a bechar? If you get, it's not first-hand testimony, but someone says, to another person that he saw this Bechor getting a mum in the field. He saw it scratched itself on the fence, that it got a mum. It happened naturally. Is that enough for it to be eaten? And we didn't hear firsthand. We heard it from the second hand. Ma'alei this Bechor. Does it work for a Bechor? Rabasi Asar, Rabashi, sorry, they switch it over here to Rabasi, Rabami. Ravasi says that it's Asar, you can't use the Eid Mipi Eid, it's not a good testimony, you have to use the rules of testimony. And Ravashi says no, Amle Ravasi, the Ravashi, doesn't make sense. Ravasi says to Ravashi, it must be Rabami. V'hatana, to Bei Menachem, Ein Eid Mipi Eid Kashal Eid Desisha. The only time that you're allowed to use second-hand testimony is to allow a woman to get remarried. Because if someone says that we saw the husband that was getting killed or something, and we don't have it firsthand, but we have it secondhand, that's enough to allow the woman to get married. So we have leniencies, mishum igun, that the woman shouldn't have to stay the rest of her life thinking that her husband is alive and she can never get married or get a get. So mishum igun, we have a leniency to allow her to get remarried. We heard from someone that heard from someone, that's good enough. But by a Bechor, we don't have that exception. Tani ela le'idas sha'isha ksherela. It's not a leniency in Egon. It's a leniency in what's it? In Isser. What is it? What's Eidachanam Bisurin? That anything that a woman would be trusted, you can use Eid Mipi Eid as well. Look, you go to the house. And they serve you food. So who cooked the food? They say, the woman. Say, but the woman isn't believed. She can't be a witness. How do you know it's kosher? The answer is that Eidecha Neman Beisurim. You could use one witness, including a woman, anything that has to do with a ritual law, which is the kosher laws, not with monetary laws and all of that, but with ritual law you can use it. So therefore, what we're saying here is that if I can use a woman for anything that's ritual, I can also use a testimony, a second-hand testimony, also for anything that's ritual, which includes a Bechor. Rav Yemar Achsher Eid Mipi Eid B'Bechor. Rav Yemar permitted a Bechor with second-hand testimony. And Kari LeMereimar Yemar Shari Bechor. Mereimar called him, he gave him a nickname, Yemar, that permits firstborns. That was like a derogatory nickname because he was being too lenient, that he was allowing a second-hand testimony. The Hilchas Eid Mipi Eid Kashal Eid Bechor. The halacha is, the Gemara concludes, usually the Hilchas are from the Gainim, right? It says that the halacha is Eid Mipi Eid is second-hand testimony is accepted by a Bechor, that the mum came naturally; it wasn't put in there on purpose. Rabbi La says, "Leya machzikim by Bechor." This is really a Baba Basra, Baba Metzia Sugya. If we didn't know that it was a Bechor, Uba Echad va'amar shehu Bechor. Umuma imay. Huh?
Is this an animal or a person?
This is an animal.
Mm-hmm. I see.
He says, what happens is we have an animal here. Regular animal. We're gonna shecht it. The guy that's with the animal says, this is a Bechor. But you see that little scratch on it? That's a mum. The Chacham said that's a mum. Mm-hmm. We didn't ask the Chacham. We don't know. We don't know if it happened naturally. There's a bunch of things over here. But we didn't know that it was a Bechor beforehand. We only know it's a Bechor from this person. So if we trust this guy, then we have to trust him fully. That's called Neman, that's called Pesha Asar Hua Pesha Yeter. The one that told me that it's prohibited also told me that it's permissible. Mm. He's the one that created the problem, so you have to trust him fully. If you're going to trust him in that, so trust him that the problem's resolved. Gemara says, Micah Mashmalan. What's Rabbi Lai saying? Shapesa Asar Hua Pesha Yeter. He's trying to tell me the rules of Pesha Asar. That if someone says that it's prohibited, you also have to believe him when he says it's permitted. Tanina, that was taught in the Mishnah already. If a woman comes to town and the men start saying, are you single, are you married? They want to set her up, or They want her to for a shidduch. So she says, actually, I was married, but I'm divorced. So she's believed that she's divorced. Why? Because she could have said she's single. She was never married. She said she's married. That we have no other source other than her. So we have to trust her also that she is divorced. So why does Rabbi why does Rabbi Eily need to tell me that if someone comes with a bechar and says that it was if someone comes with an animal and says that it was a bechar and says that it also has a mum, that I trust him? Of course I trust him. I have a Mishnah that says a woman that comes and says that she was married and divorced, that I trust her that she's divorced, because my only source that she was married is from her. My only source that this was a bechar is from this guy, and he says that it has a mum. Over there,
It's kind of like a modem miktas, a little bit. She opened up her mouth, she gave you a little information.
Right.
Once she done that.
Right. Yeah. If we didn't trust this woman, so she wouldn't have said anything. So now that she said something, in other words, if the woman doesn't care to get remarried, even though her husband is alive or still married, doesn't have a get, so she wouldn't have said anything. So